All right, today we're going to dive into something really fascinating, leadership and freedom. But we're going to look at it through the lens of three very different kinds of kings. And you'll see how their stories, even though they're from totally different times and places, are all tangled up in this never-ending fight for liberation.
So that brings us to the big question for today. What actually makes a king when we're talking about the fight for freedom? I mean, is it what you typically think of? A crown, a throne, an army? Or is it something totally different, something deeper, like moral authority or the sheer power of people coming together?
Okay, and here's where it gets interesting. The key that unlocks all of this, it's the month of January. Yeah, I know, it's the start of the year, a time for new beginnings and all that, but it's also this incredible anchor for revolutionary memory. It's like this one point on the calendar where all these different stories of breaking away, of starting over, of liberation, they all just come together. And just look at this. It's not a coincidence. On January 1st, you've got Haitian independence, the first Black Republic, born from a successful slave revolt. Incredible. Then, in that same month, there's Fête Wa, which is King's Day in Haitian Vodou. And of course, here in the US, we have Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Three huge, powerful celebrations of freedom and kingship, all packed into 1 month. Wild, right? So let's dig into that first. We're going to start by looking at two really different ideas of what a revolution can be. On one hand, you have the armed struggle of the Haitian Revolution. And on the other, you've got the moral revolution of the American Civil Rights Movement. Both of them completely broke with the past, right? A massive rupture. But man, they went about it in completely different ways.
And this really lays it all out. Haiti in 1804, that shook the entire geopolitical landscape. It was a physical, military victory, kicking out the colonizers, just a total overthrow. But the civil rights movement, that was a moral rupture. It wasn't about taking over with guns and armies. It was about holding up a mirror to the nation and saying, hey, live up to what you say you believe. So you see, two totally different strategies, but they were both aiming for the exact same thing: human dignity over domination.
Now, to really get what Haiti's Fête Wa is all about, we have to talk about this idea of sacred kingship. And this is key. It's not about political power in the way we normally think about it. It's not about being a ruler who gives orders. Instead, it's an authority that comes from a deep spiritual and moral responsibility to your community, to your ancestors. The most important thing to get here is that power, in this sense, is about taking care of people. It's stewardship, not dominance.
And this idea of freedom isn't just an abstract concept. In Haiti, you can literally taste it, and I mean that. There's this incredibly powerful tradition involving soup jumu. It's this pumpkin soup that was considered a delicacy, so much so that the French colonizers wouldn't let enslaved people eat it. So what happens on January 1st, Independence Day? Every Haitian eats this soup. It's an act of defiance, an act of memory. It literally turns the simple act of eating into a celebration of freedom. It's the taste of reclaimed dignity.
Okay, so let's switch gears a bit and bring it over to the United States. We're going to look at two huge monuments in Washington, D.C. Because, let's be real, monuments aren't just big chunks of stone, right? They're a country's way of saying, this is what we choose to remember. This is who we choose to remember. They're living statements about what a nation truly values. And the relationship between the two men honored by these monuments is just so powerful. This quote really nails it. Lincoln represents emancipation declared. Think about that. It's an act coming from the top down, from the power of the government. But then, King represents freedom demanded. That's the complete opposite. It's coming from the bottom up. It's a demand for justice that's powered by pure moral force, not by an army.
This chart really puts that difference side by side. You have Lincoln, who had all the power of the state at his fingertips. He was the president, the commander-in-chief, but King's power, it was a totally different animal. He had no army, no official title like that. His authority was 100% moral. It came from people's conscience, from nonviolent protest, and from the shared will of millions of people who were just demanding what was right.
So, you might be asking, why does any of this symbolism, the holidays, the monuments, why does it matter so much? Well, because these things carry the weight of our collective memory. They make us ask some really tough questions, like whose story gets told? Who do we make visible on our country's official narrative? And while they can celebrate resistance, they also shine a huge spotlight on a nation's unresolved issues with its own past.
And this is really where it all comes together. The central idea that connects Haiti, King, and Lincoln is this: the fight for freedom is never, ever finished. Every single victory, as big as it is, isn't the finish line. It's more like a baton being passed from one generation to the next. It's all about freedom's unfinished work.
You can almost see it as a series of steps, right? An unfolding process. So, step 1. Emancipation gets declared by the government, like with Lincoln. Great. But that's just a piece of paper if nothing else happens. So, step 2. Those rights have to be demanded by the people to make them real. That's king. And that leads directly to step 3, which is where we are, right now. Justice doesn't just happen. It has to be actively, constantly maintained.
And really, that's the bottom line here. Passing a law or signing a proclamation, that's just the starting pistol. Real, lasting justice, that's something that has to be woven into every single part of our society. It has to be in our culture, in what we teach our kids, in our economy, and in the stories we tell about ourselves. It's not a one-time event. It's a living, breathing commitment.
So we're back to where we started, but the question has shifted a little. It's not just about how you win freedom, it's about how you keep it. What does freedom need from us, from you, from me, right now, today, to make sure it's not just a word in a history book? That's the unfinished work, and it's the inheritance we all share.